Okay, so I don't know how the audio is going to be. This is the first video I've shot with this camera. I burned my shop down about 6 months ago, and I lost the stuff that I normally use, so I'm trying some new stuff. Anyway, I'm working on I think this is a 2022. Anyway, it's a Momentum, yeah, that one. G-Class travel trailer, and the furnace will not ignite, and there is a, let's see if it's still flashing, and there it is right there. Sorry for my unsteady hands here. According to the label up here on the blower motor, one flash every 3 seconds indicates a problem with the airflow. That's interesting because I've already checked the switch previously months and months and months ago, and I put it off until it got cold, of course. Overnight temperatures are getting close to freezing now, so I'm going to need to get this repaired. And I'd already checked the sales switch, and that would be this item right there. And it seems to be functioning. So I'm not sure what the problem is. Again, the label, which is right up there, indicates that one flash with a 3-second pause is an airflow / limit fault. I'm not sure what the problem is. I've already flipped and reset the unit just to be sure. Propane is functioning, but the warning or error light here is telling us that it is a airflow problem, not a propane problem. Don't know that there's anything to detect a lack of propane other than failure to ignite. I'm not getting any smell of propane from the exhaust when it's attempting to ignite, so it's not even turning on the propane control valve up here. So I suspect that it's going to be right back to this darned sales switch, which I thought I had already tested. Now I'm going to go knowing that I need it and get the multimeter. I'm going to double check that switch, and then I'm going to attempt to bypass the switch to find out if that will allow this to ignite. And I'm only going to bypass it during the diagnostics. I would never leave it bypassed for operation, just because if the blower motor did fail and it wasn't getting sufficient airflow through here, that sounds like that's a fire hazard from overheating the heat exchanger in there, and again, potentially causing a fire. Not likely, but it's a rather expensive piece of equipment, and we're likely going to be in it at that time, so that's not worth taking that chance. Okay, and I've got my multimeter, and I'm about to remove this unit. The first thing I'm going to do, and I will try to set the camera up on the tripod to catch this, I'm going to remove the electrical connectors, and then to remove the item, this whole black square here comes out with a screw at the top and a screw at the bottom, which on my unit happened to be a size 1 Phillips. Size 2 is a little bit too large and is likely to strip it out. So I'll set this on the tripod and see if I can't catch that, and then hit it with the meter and see what we've got. It's tested good before. Something's still going on. I don't like how it's misaligned. That may be a problem. That connection was loose coming off of there. The blade connector, female, maybe not making good connection, although I don't believe that that's it. This should be a low voltage switch, so very much connection should not be required. It's not a high amperage connection. Okay, so I'll try to hold this over here where the zoom is already connecting it, and getting it rather. This whole thing pivots because there's only one screw in it from the factory. I'm not sure why that is, other than being cheap, or maybe just not being, maybe poor quality control, or just lazy employees, I'm not sure which allows the whole thing to pivot this way. Which is not a problem because the air is supposed to move and depress this switch right here. That's why it has this large paddle on it, to catch the airflow. And then it's supposed to click. Well, that could be a problem right there. What's happening is because the switch is misaligned right here, and because it's loose, the body of the switch interesting. I'm not sure if it's the way that I'm holding it or if it's the switch itself. There seems to be intermittent contact. Okay, I'm holding it. I'm not letting it travel its full distance out here, and that's staying continuous. When I move it a little bit farther, it finds a spot in there where it's dead. There's no whistling. I'm actually moving it out now as if the fan wasn't running, and now it whistles. I'll move it farther back as if the fan's really blowing it over, and I can find a dead spot right there. It's finicky, but I'm going to say that it's the sail switch. There's something with this switch. But that seems to be the problem right there, is that right now this is in the unswitched position. Press it back this way as if the air is blowing over it, and it clicks, and then it works. But if I move it a little bit farther back, it stops making connection intermittently. That's going to be, I believe, the problem. See if there's any way. There. I can slide this back and expose the metal contact, and then I can just overlap them to one another. So we're just going to bypass that. Since I was able to slide that back, I don't have to go get anything else. There they are. They're just bypassed to one another. I'll go inside. Interesting. There's a whistling noise when I do that. Strange. Let me go try to reset that. I don't know why it's whistling. Yep, something's not happy. I'll leave those disconnected until the unit's attempting to reignite. There we go. That's it. The sail switch is showing intermittent connectivity. Yep, 0. And it's showing a higher resistance than it should as well. It should be continuity and whistling and 0 or close to 0. Praise the Lord. I thought it was going to be something really more complicated because I've tested the switch before. The problem is the switch is making intermittent contact.